Hello, friends. If you're excited to learn all about the movie The Beekeeper 2024 in English, don't forget to give this video a like. And if it's your first time with us, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We dive into the best movies, so join us and never miss out on the latest content. Let's get started. As the curtains rise on The Beekeeper 2024, we find ourselves drawn into a world where serenity and suspense collide, a story as sweet and deadly as the honey its protagonist tends to. Directed by the visionary David Ayer, the film isn't just another action thriller. It's a tightly woven tale of vengeance, secrets, and redemption. With Jason Statham taking the lead, you can expect nothing less than an explosive yet deeply emotional journey. Set against the backdrop of sun-drenched countryside and the darker, grittier edges of urban chaos, The Beekeeper paints a striking contrast between the idyllic life that could be and the harsh reality of what is. At its heart lies a man named Mr. Clay, a retired operative whose quiet life as a beekeeper masks a turbulent, haunting past. It's in his peaceful retreat, surrounded by the hum of bees and the calm of nature, that we meet him. But as any seasoned moviegoer knows, peace never lasts, especially not for someone with a past like Clay's. The story wastes no time in plunging us into the action. Clay's carefully constructed life is torn apart when a dear friend falls victim to a ruthless cyber scam. This isn't just a loss of money. It's a devastating blow that leads to her tragic death. For Clay, this isn't just a crime, it's personal. And as his dark past resurfaces, so does the formidable man he used to be, one who will stop at nothing to ensure justice, or perhaps vengeance. The brilliance of The Beekeeper lies in its ability to balance these personal stakes with a larger, more complex web of conspiracy. As Clay begins his quest to find those responsible, he uncovers a dangerous network of cybercriminals that stretches far beyond anything he initially imagined. What starts as a personal vendetta transforms into a mission with global implications, thrusting Clay into a world he thought he had left behind for good. The film masterfully teases the duality of its title. Bees, with their intricate hives and dangerous stings, become a powerful metaphor for the interconnected and perilous web Clay finds himself in. Every move he makes threatens to disturb the hive, with enemies ready to swarm at the slightest provocation. This symbolism isn't just thematic, it's visual. The cinematography leans heavily on this motif, using the structure of hives, the golden hues of honey, and the menacing hum of bees to build a tense, atmospheric world. Without revealing too much, the film offers some truly unforgettable twists. One of the standout elements is the way Clay's seemingly simple lifestyle ties into the larger narrative. His skills as a beekeeper, his patience, precision, and understanding of structure become essential tools in his battle against the sprawling network of criminals. And let's not forget the action sequences, which are as inventive as they are brutal. From close-quarters combat in a honey-laden warehouse to a breathtaking chase through the city, every moment feels meticulously crafted to keep you on the edge of your seat. The supporting cast adds depth to the story, with standout performances from Emmy Raver-Lampman as FBI agent Sophia Hayes, whose initial skepticism of Clay turns into an unlikely alliance, and Jeremy Irons as the chilling mastermind behind the cyber ring. Each character adds another layer to the narrative, making it more than just a straightforward revenge story. As the plot thickens, we see Clay pushed to his limits, both physically and emotionally. The film doesn't shy away from exploring his vulnerabilities, his guilt, his grief, and the moral lines he's willing to cross. It's this humanity that sets The Beekeeper apart from typical action thrillers. Yes, there are jaw-dropping stunts and high-octane sequences, but there's also a beating heart at the center of it all. What makes the first act so compelling is how it lays the groundwork for the chaos to come. By the time the second half rolls around, you're fully invested. Not just in the action, but in Clay's journey as a man grappling with his past while fighting for a future worth living. The stakes feel real, the twists feel earned, and every choice Clay makes pulls you deeper into his world. But what of the film's ending? Well, that's where The Beekeeper truly delivers. It's not just about whether Clay succeeds or fails. It's about what he's willing to sacrifice to get there. The climactic showdown is as much a battle of wits as it is of fists, and the resolution leaves you thinking long after the credits roll. So, as we wrap up our introduction to The Beekeeper, let's pause to appreciate what makes this film so special. It's not just a revenge thriller. It's a story about connection, about how the choices we make ripple through the lives of others, much like the bees in a hive. It's about the cost of justice and the lengths one man will go to protect what he loves. And with that, we've only just begun to scratch the surface. In the coming videos, we'll dive deeper into the film's intricate plot, its memorable characters, and the techniques that bring it all to life. But for now, I'll leave you with this. How far would you go to right a wrong? It's a question The Beekeeper asks, and one that will stay with you long after the movie ends. In the world of The Beekeeper 2024, the characters are not just players in the story. They are the very hive of intrigue, emotion, and transformation that drive the film's narrative forward. Each individual is meticulously crafted, their arcs entwined like the honeycomb patterns that symbolize the delicate balance of trust, revenge, and redemption. At the heart of this intricate web stands Mr. Clay, the titular beekeeper, portrayed with an arresting intensity that makes him both enigmatic and relatable. From the opening scenes, Clay exudes a quiet strength, a man seemingly content with the simplicity of his craft, yet harboring layers of complexity beneath his calm demeanor. His journey begins in solitude, his interactions limited to the hum of bees and the stillness of his rural surroundings. But there's an undercurrent to his character, a storm brewing beneath the surface. Clay's stoic exterior hides a past marred by loss and betrayal, and as the film unfolds, it becomes evident that his commitment to justice, or perhaps vengeance, is deeply personal. Clay's relationship with the bees is symbolic of his inner world. Just as a beekeeper tends to his hive with care, ensuring balance and productivity, Clay approaches his life with a calculated precision. Yet, like a hive under threat, his controlled existence unravels when his past resurfaces. This duality in his character, gentle protector and fierce avenger, is what makes him so compelling. The moments where Clay interacts with others reveal a man of few words but profound actions, his silence often speaking louder than any dialogue. Opposite Clay is Sarah, a young woman who serves as a counterpoint to his character. Where Clay is seasoned and deliberate, Sarah embodies a youthful fervor and idealism. Introduced as a community activist, Sarah's initial role appears to be that of a secondary character, but her significance grows as the plot thickens. Her optimism and fiery determination provide a contrast to Clay's world-weary perspective, and their interactions reveal a mentality dynamic that evolves into something more profound. Sarah's backstory, though not as detailed as Clay's, is marked by struggles that mirror his in unexpected ways. Her resilience and courage make her a beacon of hope in the otherwise dark landscape of the narrative. Another central figure in the story is Marcus, an antagonist whose presence looms like a shadow over the film's events. Marcus is a man of power and influence, his charm and charisma masking a ruthless nature. He is not just a villain in the traditional sense, but a representation of systemic corruption and greed. The conflict between Marcus and Clay is more than personal. It is ideological, a battle between opposing worldviews. Marcus's character is fascinating in his own right, a man who justifies his actions with twisted logic, making him a morally ambiguous figure rather than a one-dimensional foe. His interactions with Clay crackle with tension, their exchanges laden with unspoken threats and simmering rage. Supporting these main characters are a host of secondary players, each adding depth and nuance to the story. Ellie, a widowed neighbor who shares a tentative friendship with Clay, provides a glimpse into his softer side. Her character is gentle yet strong, a quiet force who influences Clay in subtle ways. There's also Officer Grayson, a local law enforcement figure caught in the crossfire of the escalating conflict. Grayson's loyalty is tested throughout the film, and his arc highlights the moral complexities of choosing between duty and justice. The ensemble cast also includes a group of mercenaries and allies connected to Clay's mysterious past. These characters are more than just plot devices. They bring with them their own motivations and histories, enriching the narrative tapestry. One standout among them is Victor, an old comrade whose reappearance stirs up memories Clay would rather forget. Victor's role is pivotal, serving as a mirror to Clay's character. Where Clay seeks redemption, Victor seems resigned to his fate, their interactions filled with tension and unspoken regret. One cannot discuss the characters without mentioning the bees themselves, which function almost as characters in their own right. The hive becomes a metaphor for unity and survival, its dynamics reflecting the broader themes of the film. The bees' role in key scenes adds an element of the surreal, their presence often serving as a reminder of the delicate balance between harmony and chaos. The relationships between the characters are intricately woven, each interaction laden with subtext and significance. Clay and Sarah's bond is particularly noteworthy, a relationship that evolves from mutual suspicion to a deep, unspoken trust. Through Sarah, Clay begins to confront his own demons, her idealism challenging his cynicism in ways that are both touching and transformative. Similarly, Clay's confrontations with Marcus are electric, their ideological clashes elevating the stakes of the story. The characters in The Beekeeper are brought to life not only through sharp writing, but also through nuanced performances. The actors imbue their roles with a depth that makes every glance, pause, and gesture meaningful. Clay's portrayal is a masterclass in restraint, the actor conveying volumes with a mere flicker of emotion. Sarah's vibrancy and Marcus's chilling composure are equally compelling, their performances adding layers to already complex characters. What makes the character dynamics in The Beekeeper so engaging is their realism. Despite the heightened stakes of the story, their emotions and choices feel grounded, resonating with universal themes of loss, redemption, and the quest for justice. The film doesn't shy away from showing their flaws and vulnerabilities, making them all the more relatable. As the story hurtles toward its climax, the characters' arcs converge in ways that are both unexpected and deeply satisfying. Their growth, setbacks, and ultimate resolutions feel earned, a testament to the film's meticulous character development. Whether it's Clay confronting his past, Sarah finding her voice, or Marcus facing the consequences of his hubris, each character's journey contributes to the film's emotional and thematic resonance. In the end, the characters of The Beekeeper leave a lasting impression, their stories lingering long after the credits roll. They are not just participants in the plot, but reflections of the film's core themes, their journeys illuminating the complex interplay of morality, resilience, and human connection. Through them, the film weaves a narrative that is as thought-provoking as it is emotionally gripping, a testament to the power of character-driven storytelling. The first half of The Beekeeper, 2024, unfolds like the careful choreography of a dance, each step deliberate, each movement setting the stage for what's to come. It begins in a serene, almost idyllic setting, a rural landscape where the hum of bees serves as both a soundtrack and a metaphor for the story's unfolding tension. Mr. Clay, the central figure, is introduced in this tranquil backdrop, tending to his hives with the precision and care of a man who values order. Yet, there's an unspoken weight in his movements, a shadow that suggests all is not as it seems. The film wastes no time in drawing the audience into Clay's world. The first key event is a seemingly innocuous encounter with a neighbor, Ellie, whose warmth and curiosity provide a gentle contrast to Clay's reserved nature. Their interaction is layered, hinting at a shared history and unspoken understanding. Ellie's presence offers a glimpse into the community surrounding Clay, a tight-knit yet wary group of individuals, each carrying their own burdens. It's through these early exchanges that the film establishes its thematic undercurrents of trust, isolation, and the search for belonging. The narrative takes its time to build momentum, the pacing deliberate but never sluggish. Director David Ayer allows the story to breathe, using this early phase to immerse the audience in the texture of Clay's life. The camera lingers on details, the methodical way Clay handles his bees, the weathered tools in his workshop, the worn paths that crisscross his property. These visual cues are more than mere scene setting. They are an extension of Clay's character, a reflection of his inner turmoil and yearning for control in an unpredictable world. As the plot progresses, the first hints of conflict begin to emerge. Clay's routine is disrupted by a series of subtle yet unsettling events. A stranger in the village asks probing questions. A local merchant mentions seeing unfamiliar faces around town. These moments are understated but effective, planting seeds of unease without revealing too much. The film's restraint here is commendable, creating a slow-burn tension that keeps the audience on edge. A pivotal moment arrives when Sarah, a spirited young activist, enters the scene. Her arrival injects a burst of energy into the story. Her fiery determination is sharp contrast to Clay's measured demeanor. Sarah is on a mission to expose corruption in the region, her investigations bringing her into Clay's orbit. Their first meeting is fraught with suspicion, their differences in age, temperament, and worldview creating an initial barrier. Yet, there's an undeniable spark of mutual respect, a sense that their paths crossing is no mere coincidence. Through Sarah, the film introduces a broader context to its narrative. Her crusade against powerful interests hints at the larger forces at play, the unseen machinations that threaten to upend Clay's quiet existence. These developments add layers to the plot, expanding its scope without sacrificing its intimate focus. Sarah's involvement also brings new thematic dimensions to the story, exploring the generational divide and the interplay between idealism and pragmatism. The tension continues to build as Clay and Sarah find themselves drawn into a web of intrigue. The screenplay deftly weaves together their personal struggles with the larger conflict, creating a narrative that feels both epic and deeply personal. Key events in this phase include a confrontation at a town hall meeting, a cryptic message left on Clay's property, and a tense exchange with Marcus, the film's antagonist. Each of these moments is charged with subtext, the dialogue crackling with unspoken threats and hidden agendas. One of the most striking aspects of the first half is its use of symbolism and visual storytelling. The bees, central to Clay's world, are more than just a backdrop. They are a recurring motif that mirrors the themes of unity, resilience, and vulnerability. In one particularly memorable scene, Clay observes a hive under attack by hornets, his expression betraying a mix of sorrow and determination. The sequence is both a foreshadowing of the challenges to come and a reflection of Clay's internal state. A man fighting to protect what he holds dear against overwhelming odds. The film's pacing in the first half is a masterclass in controlled escalation. The initial calm is gradually replaced by an undercurrent of tension, each new development adding to the sense of unease. Yet, the narrative never rushes, allowing the audience to fully absorb the stakes and connect with the characters. This deliberate approach makes the eventual shift into high gear all the more impactful, the slow build-up lending weight to the action and drama that follow. Thematically, the first half of The Beekeeper lays the groundwork for its exploration of justice, redemption, and the cost of silence. Clay's interactions with the community reveal a man grappling with his past, his reluctance to engage hinting at a history he'd rather leave buried. Sarah, on the other hand, embodies the fearless pursuit of truth, her willingness to take risks serving as a counterbalance to Clay's caution. Together, they form a compelling duo, their dynamic driving much of the film's emotional resonance. The narrative structure is also worth noting. The film employs a nonlinear approach, interspersing the present-day events with brief flashbacks that provide glimpses into Clay's past. These flashbacks are sparingly used, their fragmented nature mirroring Clay's own fractured memories. This technique adds depth to the story, gradually peeling back the layers of Clay's character while maintaining an air of mystery. As the first half draws to a close, the stakes are raised with a shocking revelation that changes everything. Without delving into spoilers, it's a moment that redefines the relationships between the characters and sets the stage for the explosive second half. The pacing quickens, the sense of urgency heightens, and the audience is left on the edge of their seats, eager to see how the story will unfold. In essence, The first half of The Beekeeper is a masterful blend of character development, thematic exploration, and narrative tension. It draws the audience into its world with a quiet confidence, laying a solid foundation for the drama and action to come. Every detail, from the dialogue to the cinematography, is meticulously crafted, creating a rich and immersive experience. By the time the midpoint arrives, the film has firmly established itself as a compelling tale of resilience, justice, and the indomitable human spirit. The second half of The Beekeeper, 2024, is where the film's simmering tension boils over into full-blown conflict, delivering a cascade of twists, emotional climaxes, and an unforgettable resolution. Having spent the first half meticulously setting the stage, the movie dives headfirst into the unraveling of its central mysteries and the explosive confrontations that result. The transition into the second half begins with a chilling discovery. Sarah uncovers evidence linking Marcus, the antagonist, to a series of devastating environmental and economic crimes affecting the region. This revelation adds urgency to the narrative, placing both Sarah and Clay in greater danger. What was once a quiet story of personal redemption now becomes a high-stakes struggle against corruption and power. The pacing quickens, and the quiet dread of the first half gives way to adrenaline-fueled suspense. Clay, still reluctant to involve himself fully, is forced to confront his past when Marcus's actions hit close to home. A devastating event, a calculated attack on Clay's property, marks the turning point for his character. His cherished beehives, long a symbol of his order and solace, are destroyed in a fiery act of sabotage. The scene is devastating not only for its visual impact, but for what it represents: the loss of Clay's sanctuary and his ultimate push to take a stand. The filmmakers use this moment to strip away the last of Clay's defenses, laying bare his vulnerabilities while igniting his resolve. As the plot thickens, the relationship between Clay and Sarah deepens. Their uneasy alliance evolves into a partnership built on mutual respect and shared purpose. Sarah's determination and resourcefulness inspire Clay, while his wisdom and experience provide her with a steadying influence. The chemistry between the characters is palpable, and their interactions add emotional depth to the unfolding drama. Together, they begin to piece together the full extent of Marcus's schemes, unraveling a web of deceit and greed that stretches far beyond what either of them initially suspected. The second half of the film also delves into the themes of justice and morality with greater intensity. Clay's journey is not just about standing up to an external enemy, but about confronting his inner demons. Through a series of flashbacks, the audience learns the truth about his past, a tragic incident that led to his self-imposed isolation. These revelations are expertly woven into the narrative, shedding light on Clay's motivations while adding layers to his character. The flashbacks are not mere exposition, but pivotal moments that enrich the story and provide context for Clay's transformation. The action ramps up as Clay and Sarah take their fight to Marcus's doorstep. Their efforts culminate in a daring operation to expose Marcus's crimes, a sequence that is as thrilling as it is nerve-wracking. The film's cinematography shines in these moments, with dynamic camera work and tightly edited sequences that keep the audience on the edge of their seats. The use of sound is particularly effective, with a tense, pulsating score heightening the suspense and underscoring the stakes. Amidst the action, the film never loses sight of its emotional core. A particularly poignant moment occurs when Clay, reflecting on his journey, acknowledges his mistakes and expresses his gratitude to Sarah for reigniting his sense of purpose. It's a quiet scene, but its impact is profound, serving as a testament to the power of human connection and the resilience of the human spirit. The climax of the film is a masterclass in tension and payoff. In a high-stakes confrontation, Clay and Sarah present their evidence against Marcus to the authorities and the community. However, Marcus, ever the cunning antagonist, attempts to manipulate the situation to his advantage. The scene is a roller coaster of emotions, with twists that keep the audience guessing until the very end. The resolution is both satisfying and thought-provoking, leaving no loose ends while staying true to the film's themes of redemption and justice. As the dust settles, the final moments of the film offer a sense of closure and hope. Clay, having confronted his past and made peace with his present, decides to rebuild his life. Sarah, too, emerges stronger and more determined, her victory a testament to her courage and tenacity. The film ends on a note of quiet triumph, with a final shot that lingers on a newly constructed beehive, a symbol of resilience and renewal. The second half of The Beekeeper is a masterful blend of action, emotion, and thematic depth. It takes the groundwork laid in the first half and builds on it with precision, delivering a narrative that is as compelling as it is impactful. Every element, from the performances to the cinematography, works in harmony to create a film that is both a thrilling ride and a meaningful exploration of the human condition. By the time the credits roll, the audience is left with a sense of satisfaction and a deeper appreciation for the story's nuances and complexities. Behind every film, there are stories that often rival the drama of the on-screen narrative, and The Beekeeper, 2024, is no exception. Its creation brought together a mix of innovation, serendipity, and unexpected challenges that shaped the final product into something truly unique. From the production quirks to the little-known anecdotes shared by the cast and crew, the film's behind-the-scenes journey is as captivating as the story it tells. It all began with the choice of setting, a decision that would dictate not just the visual aesthetic, but also the logistical demands of the shoot. The filmmakers wanted authenticity, so they decided to film in rural beekeeping communities in Eastern Europe, specifically in Bulgaria. What they hadn't anticipated was the fervent interest of the local beekeepers themselves. Upon hearing about the film's premise, dozens of them volunteered to be part of the shoot, offering their expertise and even their personal hives as props. This unexpected collaboration not only enriched the film's authenticity, but also sparked numerous impromptu moments that made it into the final cut. One such moment occurred when a swarm of bees, startled by the production's bright lights, created a natural becloud effect that was so visually striking it became a centerpiece for one of the film's pivotal scenes. The bees, naturally, became an integral part of the production, not just symbolically but logistically. While CGI was used for some sequences, the director insisted on using live bees wherever possible. This decision led to a crash course in bee behavior for the entire cast and crew. Lead actor Jason Statham, who plays Clay, went through an intense beekeeping boot camp to ensure his handling of the hives looked convincing. He reportedly developed such a rapport with the bees that he jokingly referred to them as his co-stars. However, this rapport wasn't always smooth. Statham was stung multiple times during filming but took it in stride, even quipping in interviews that the bees were better actors than most humans. One of the strangest occurrences during production involved a scene that required the bees to swarm a specific area. Despite meticulous planning and coordination with professional beekeepers, the bees had their own ideas. Instead of swarming the designated area, they clustered around the camera crew's equipment, drawn to the warmth and hum of the machinery. This unexpected behavior caused a delay, but the director saw an opportunity and adjusted the scene to incorporate the bees' natural tendencies. The result was a visually stunning shot that blended chaos and beauty, capturing the unpredictable nature of the film's tiny stars. The casting process also had its share of surprises. While Jason Statham was always the top choice for Clay, the role of Sarah proved more challenging to fill. The filmmakers auditioned numerous actresses before discovering Abigail Breslin, whose audition reportedly left the room in awe. Her chemistry with Statham during a screen test sealed the deal. Interestingly, Breslin revealed in interviews that she has a personal fear of bees, which made her role particularly daunting. She overcame her phobia during production, crediting the supportive crew and her co-stars for helping her through it. Her journey from apprehension to confidence mirrored her character's arc, adding an extra layer of authenticity to her performance. Another fascinating tidbit involves the film's score. The composer, known for his unconventional methods, incorporated the sounds of actual bees into the soundtrack. Using specialized recording equipment, he captured the hums, buzzes, and movements of the hives to create an ambient layer that permeates the film's music. This choice not only tied the score to the film's themes, but also created a hauntingly immersive auditory experience for the audience. The screenplay itself underwent several revisions before reaching its final form. Early drafts of the script leaned heavily into the action thriller genre, with less focus on the emotional and thematic depth that ultimately defined the film. It was during a late-stage brainstorming session that the idea of intertwining the themes of environmentalism, redemption, and human connection emerged. This shift in focus gave the story its heart, transforming The Beekeeper from a standard revenge thriller into a deeply resonant tale. One of the more bizarre stories from the set involves a local superstition. In the Bulgarian village where much of the film was shot, bees are considered sacred creatures, believed to carry the souls of the departed. During a nighttime shoot, a local elder approached the crew, warning them that disturbing the bees at night could bring bad luck. While the filmmakers didn't alter their schedule, they paid tribute to the tradition by incorporating a scene in which Clay reflects on the spiritual significance of bees. This moment added a layer of mysticism to the narrative and honored the local culture that had been so integral to the production. The production also faced some unique challenges, particularly with weather. The crew had planned to shoot several scenes in golden hour sunlight to capture the warmth and vibrancy of the countryside. However, an unexpected bout of rain disrupted the schedule, leaving the filmmakers scrambling to adapt. In a stroke of creative ingenuity, they used the rain to their advantage, reimagining the affected scenes with a moody, atmospheric tone that added to the film's visual richness. A particularly heartwarming story from the set involves the beekeeper's children, who often visited the filming locations. One day, the crew organized a small event to teach the kids about filmmaking, letting them operate cameras and interact with the cast. This impromptu workshop became a cherished memory for everyone involved, and the children's enthusiasm brought an infectious energy to the set. The costumes for the film also have their own story. The costume designer drew inspiration from the muted, earthy tones of traditional beekeeping attire, blending practicality with symbolism. Clay's beekeeping suit, for instance, evolves throughout the film, reflecting his journey from isolation to action. Subtle details, like the stitching and fabric, were chosen to represent resilience and transformation, mirroring the film's themes. Perhaps one of the most surprising facts about The Beekeeper is the environmental impact it left behind. As part of their commitment to sustainability, the filmmakers partnered with local conservationists to establish new beehives in the filming locations. These hives were designed to support the region's ecosystem and serve as a lasting legacy of the production. The initiative was so successful that it inspired similar efforts in other parts of the country, making the film not just a piece of entertainment, but a catalyst for positive change. Lastly, the promotional campaign for the film also stood out for its creativity. The marketing team launched an interactive online experience where users could explore a virtual beehive, learning about bees and their importance to the environment. This campaign not only generated buzz for the movie, but also educated audiences about the real-world issues at the heart of the story. From bee-related mishaps to touching community interactions, the making of The Beekeeper was a journey filled with unexpected twists and memorable moments. These behind-the-scenes insights offer a glimpse into the passion, creativity, and collaboration that brought the film to life, proving once again that the stories behind the camera are just as compelling as those on the screen. The release of The Beekeeper, 2024, marked a turning point in how action thrillers were perceived by critics and audiences alike. Beneath the surface of its high-octane action and gripping revenge narrative lay a carefully constructed web of significant events, each imbued with thematic weight and emotional depth. As viewers peeled back the layers, the film revealed itself to be more than just a tale of vengeance. It was a meditation on loss, redemption, and humanity's fragile connection with nature. From the very opening scene, where Clay is introduced tending to his hives in quiet solitude, the film establishes its reflective tone. Critics were quick to point out the juxtaposition between Clay's serene life as a beekeeper and the chaos that unfolds after tragedy strikes. This duality, they noted, set the stage for the film's exploration of personal transformation. The bees, serving as both metaphor and plot device, were hailed as a masterstroke in storytelling. Their symbolic representation of community, resilience, and interconnectedness lent a profound layer to Clay's journey, making his eventual descent into violence all the more tragic and poignant. One of the most analyzed sequences occurs early in the film when Clay discovers the devastating betrayal that sets him on his path of revenge. While the narrative thrust of this event is straightforward, its execution is anything but. The scene unfolds with minimal dialogue, relying instead on subtle visual cues and sound design to convey Clay's grief and anger. Critics praise the restraint shown by the filmmakers, emphasizing how this choice allowed audiences to feel the weight of Clay's emotions rather than being told what to feel. The use of silence, broken only by the soft hum of bees, was particularly noted for its haunting effect, drawing viewers into the character's internal turmoil. As Clay embarks on his quest for vengeance, the film introduces a series of pivotal events that highlight the complexity of his character. One standout moment involves his decision to spare the life of a minor antagonist, despite having every reason not to. This act of mercy, critics observed, added a layer of ambiguity to Clay's motivations. Was he driven purely by vengeance, or was there a part of him still clinging to the moral code he once lived by? This moral tension became a recurring theme throughout the film, prompting discussions about the nature of justice and the cost of revenge. The midpoint of the film brings one of its most visually and emotionally impactful sequences, a flashback to Clay's life before the tragedy. Through a series of dreamlike vignettes, the audience is shown glimpses of his bond with his late family and his love for beekeeping as a shared passion. This sequence, critics noted, served as the emotional core of the film, grounding Clay's actions in a sense of loss that was deeply relatable. The cinematography, with its warm, golden hues, contrasted sharply with the colder, desaturated palette of the present-day scenes, underscoring the stark difference between Clay's past and present. The climactic events in the second half of the film drew mixed reactions, but were universally recognized for their boldness. The final confrontation between Clay and the film's antagonist took place not in the expected urban setting, but in the midst of a sprawling apiary. This choice, while unconventional, was lauded by many for its thematic resonance. The bees, which had been a constant presence throughout the film, became active participants in the climax, their swarm mirroring the chaos and fury of the human conflict. The scene was described as both exhilarating and surreal, with critics marveling at the seamless integration of visual effects and live-action elements. Yet, it was not just the spectacle that garnered attention. The aftermath of the confrontation, where Clay is left alone amidst the destruction, offered a moment of quiet introspection. Here, the film posed its central question: can vengeance ever truly bring peace? The ambiguity of Clay's final expression, a mix of relief, sorrow, and exhaustion, left audiences and critics alike pondering the film's ultimate message. Some viewed it as a cautionary tale about the cyclical nature of violence, while others interpreted it as a story of personal catharsis. Beyond its narrative, The Beekeeper was praised for its thematic depth. Environmentalism emerged as a prominent theme, woven seamlessly into the story through the plight of the bees. Critics commended the film for shedding light on the ecological crisis facing pollinators, likening the bees' struggle for survival to Clay's own battle against overwhelming odds. This parallel, they argued, elevated the film from a standard revenge thriller to a work of art with a social conscience. The film's emotional resonance was another point of discussion. While the action sequences were undeniably thrilling, it was the quieter moments that lingered in the minds of viewers. The scenes of Clay tending to his hives, his interactions with the local beekeeping community, and his solitary reflections were imbued with a sense of melancholy that critics found deeply moving. These moments, they said, humanized Clay and made his journey all the more compelling. Comparisons to other films in the genre were inevitable, with many noting how The Beekeeper subverted typical action thriller tropes. Unlike the bombastic, larger-than-life protagonists of similar films, Clay was portrayed as deeply flawed and achingly human. His vulnerability, both physical and emotional, set him apart and drew audiences into his story. Some critics likened the film's tone to the works of Denis Villeneuve, praising its blend of visual poetry and narrative intensity. Of course, no film is without its detractors. Some critics felt that the film's pacing suffered in its quieter moments, arguing that the introspection came at the expense of momentum. Others took issue with the film's ending, interpreting its ambiguity as a lack of resolution. Yet, even these critiques underscored the film's ability to provoke thought and elicit strong reactions, a testament to its impact. One of the most significant aspects of the film's reception was its thematic and emotional resonance with audiences. Discussions about the film's events extended beyond the cinema, sparking debates about justice, grief, and humanity's relationship with nature. Online forums were abuzz with theories about the film's symbolism, with viewers analyzing everything from the color palette to the bees' behavior. This level of engagement, critics noted, was a rare achievement for a film in this genre. The impact of The Beekeeper was further solidified by its ability to evoke a range of emotions, from the adrenaline-fueled excitement of its action sequences to the quiet heartbreak of its introspective moments. The film offered a rich emotional tapestry. This, combined with its thought-provoking themes and masterful storytelling, ensured that it resonated with audiences on a profound level. In the end, the significant events of The Beekeeper were more than just plot points. They were carefully crafted pieces of a larger puzzle. Each moment, from the smallest interaction to the grandest set piece, contributed to a narrative that was as emotionally resonant as it was thematically rich. The film's ability to balance these elements while delivering a thrilling and visually stunning experience was a testament to the vision and talent of its creators. The Beekeeper not only left a lasting impact on its viewers, but also set a new standard for what an action thriller could achieve. The journey to bring The Beekeeper, 2024, to life was a story almost as fascinating as the one told on screen. A blend of meticulous craftsmanship, serendipitous moments, and the relentless pursuit of authenticity defined its creation, leaving behind a trail of anecdotes and insights that added a layer of intrigue to the already compelling narrative. It all began with a seemingly simple concept: a beekeeper with a shadowy past drawn into a high-stakes quest for revenge. Yet, translating this idea into a cinematic experience required months of research and collaboration. The filmmakers knew they wanted the bees to be more than just background elements. They had to be integral to the story. To achieve this, the team consulted with entomologists, beekeepers, and conservationists, ensuring that every frame involving these vital creatures was grounded in authenticity. Director David Ayer, known for his dedication to realism, even attended a beekeeping workshop himself, learning the nuances of hive management and the delicate balance required to work alongside bees. One of the most talked-about aspects of the film's production was its decision to use live bees whenever possible. While CGI could have been a safer and easier option, the team felt that real bees would bring a tangible sense of life to the story. This choice, however, came with its own set of challenges. The cast and crew had to undergo training to ensure their safety around the insects, and the set was designed to accommodate the needs of the bees, including controlled environments that mimicked their natural habitats. Lead actor Jason Statham, who played Clay, reportedly developed a newfound respect for the tiny creatures, often spending his breaks observing their behavior and even naming a few of the hive's more distinctive inhabitants. Behind the scenes, the interaction between the cast and crew was as vibrant as the film's honeyed visuals. Statham, known for his action-packed roles, embraced the physical demands of his character, but also surprised everyone with his humor and camaraderie. During one particularly grueling shoot in the apiary, a bee landed on Statham's nose. Instead of panicking, he froze, allowing the bee to crawl across his face before it flew away. The moment, captured on camera, became an instant favorite among the crew and was later shared in promotional interviews as a testament to the actor's unflappable nature. The production wasn't without its share of hiccups. Filming on location presented numerous challenges, from unpredictable weather to encounters with curious wildlife. One memorable incident involved a family of raccoons that repeatedly raided the catering tent, prompting the crew to joke that they were the real villains of the story. Then there were the bees themselves. Despite the precautions, there were occasional stings, though these were remarkably few given the scale of the project. Crew members began to wear their sting count like badges of honor, with some jokingly competing to see who could endure the most. The cinematography of The Beekeeper was another aspect that drew admiration and required meticulous effort. The film's visual language was heavily inspired by the natural world, with an emphasis on warm, golden hues that echoed the colors of honey and sunlight filtering through trees. Cinematographer Roman Vazhinov worked closely with the art department to create a visual palette that felt both earthy and ethereal, capturing the duality of the film's tone. One of the most striking sequences, a sweeping drone shot of Clay walking through a vast field of wildflowers, required weeks of planning and coordination. The scene was shot at sunrise to capture the perfect lighting, with the crew arriving hours beforehand to ensure everything was in place. An unexpected highlight of the production process was the bond that formed among the crew over the course of filming. The long hours and shared challenges fostered a sense of camaraderie that extended beyond the set. During downtime, the team often held impromptu trivia sessions, testing each other's knowledge about their winged co-stars. These light-hearted moments provided a much-needed reprieve from the intensity of the shoot and became a cherished part of the production's legacy. He incorporated actual recordings of hives into the music, blending them seamlessly with orchestral elements to create a score that felt alive and pulsating with energy. This innovative approach not only enriched the film's atmosphere, but also underscored its central themes of interconnectedness and resilience. Perhaps one of the most surprising aspects of the production was the level of community involvement. When the filmmakers sought authentic rural locations, they were welcomed with open arms by local beekeeping communities. These individuals not only provided technical advice, but also shared personal stories that inspired several key scenes in the film. In one instance, a beekeeper's anecdote about a hive rebuilding itself after a natural disaster was woven into the script, adding an extra layer of poignancy to Clay's journey. The wrap party for The Beekeeper was a fitting culmination of the production's unique spirit. Held on the apiary set, it featured honey-themed desserts and live music, with many crew members donning bee-inspired costumes. Statham, ever the showman, gave a heartfelt speech thanking everyone for their dedication, humorously noting that he'd never look at a jar of honey the same way again. As The Beekeeper buzzed its way into theaters, these behind-the-scenes stories became a beloved part of its legacy. They highlighted not only the challenges and triumphs of filmmaking, but also the passion and creativity that went into every frame. For those who worked on the film, it was a labor of love. For audiences, it was a reminder that sometimes the magic of cinema begins long before the cameras start rolling. The story of The Beekeeper unfolded across a tapestry of settings that felt as alive as the characters themselves, each location breathing its own life into the narrative. From the quiet hum of rural apiaries to the bustling chaos of urban landscapes, the settings were not merely backdrops. They were integral to the story's fabric, shaping the mood, the tone, and the characters' journeys in profound ways. The film opened with a serene countryside vista, where Clay, played by Jason Statham, tended to his hives in an idyllic yet solitary existence. This setting was carefully chosen to establish a sense of peace, simplicity, and connection to nature. The filmmakers scouted for weeks to find the perfect location, ultimately settling on a remote valley dotted with wildflowers and rolling hills. The apiary itself was constructed with painstaking attention to detail, featuring rows of wooden hives painted in soft, muted tones that blended harmoniously with the surrounding landscape. The mornings on set were magical, with golden sunlight streaming through the mist, creating an almost otherworldly glow. Cinematographer Roman Vazhinov used natural light to capture the tranquility of these scenes, employing wide-angle lenses to emphasize the vastness of the countryside and the smallness of the solitary beekeeper within it. The drone shots of Clay walking among the hives became a visual metaphor for his place in the world, one man amid the intricate, interconnected systems of nature. As the story progressed, the settings began to shift, mirroring Clay's journey from solitude to vengeance. The quiet rural landscapes gave way to grimy city streets and industrial warehouses, each location chosen to contrast sharply with the film's serene opening. These urban environments were intentionally shot with a cooler color palette, dominated by shades of gray and steel blue, to evoke a sense of coldness and disconnection. The filmmakers meticulously transformed real locations into cinematic spaces, adding layers of grit and decay through set design and lighting. One of the standout urban settings was an abandoned factory where a pivotal action sequence took place. The production team spent weeks scouting for a location that could embody both danger and claustrophobia. They found an old textile mill, its crumbling walls and rusted machinery providing the perfect setting for a high-stakes showdown. The lighting in this scene was a masterclass in creating tension, with stark beams cutting through the darkness, casting long shadows that seemed to stretch like the ghosts of past betrayals. The camera work here was frenetic, employing handheld shots and rapid cuts to immerse the audience in the chaos and intensity of the moment. But it wasn't just the physical locations that shaped the film's atmosphere. It was how these spaces were filmed and framed. The use of close-ups during quiet moments with Clay emphasized his internal struggle, while sweeping panoramic shots highlighted the scale of his mission and the forces arrayed against him. The cinematography played with depth of field to focus the viewer's attention, blurring the background to isolate characters in their emotional worlds, or pulling back to reveal the sprawling, interconnected systems they were part of. The bees themselves became an essential part of the setting, their presence woven seamlessly into the narrative. The filmmakers used real hives wherever possible, capturing the mesmerizing patterns of the bees' movements in exquisite detail. Slow-motion shots of bees in flight, their delicate wings catching the light, became symbolic of both fragility and resilience. In moments of tension, the sound design amplified the hum of the bees, transforming it into an almost musical undercurrent that heightened the suspense. One particularly striking scene featured Clay in the midst of his hives at dusk, reflecting on a pivotal decision. The setting sun bathed the scene in warm, amber light, with the bees moving lazily around him as if sensing his turmoil. This moment, shot in a single continuous take, was a testament to the filmmaker's ability to use the natural world as a canvas for storytelling. The interplay of light and shadow, the subtle movements of the bees, and the stillness of the landscape all combined to create a moment of profound emotional resonance. Even the interiors were carefully designed to reflect the film's themes and character arcs. Clay's home, for instance, was a study in contrast, rustic yet meticulously organized, filled with tools and books that hinted at a life lived deliberately. The production designer, Sarah Greenwood, drew inspiration from real beekeepers' homes, incorporating elements like honeycomb-patterned tiles and vintage apiculture equipment. This attention to detail extended to the smallest props, from the jars of honey lining the shelves to the faded photographs on the mantelpiece. In contrast, the villain's lair was a stark, sterile space, all sharp angles and monochromatic colors. The absence of warmth in these settings underscored the character's detachment and ruthlessness, creating a visual dichotomy between the protagonist and his adversaries. The lighting in these scenes was harsh and unforgiving, casting deep shadows that seemed to swallow the characters whole. The filmmakers also experimented with color grading to enhance the film's emotional impact. The warm, golden hues of the countryside were gradually replaced by colder, desaturated tones as the story moved toward its darker chapters. This shift in color palette subtly mirrored Clay's transformation, his journey from a man of peace to a harbinger of justice. The use of sound was another key element in building the film's atmosphere. The gentle buzz of the bees became a recurring motif, growing louder and more insistent during moments of tension. Composer Hans Zimmer incorporated these sounds into the film's score, blending them with orchestral elements to create a soundscape that felt both organic and otherworldly. The result was a hauntingly beautiful auditory experience that lingered long after the credits rolled. One of the most innovative techniques employed was the use of macro photography to capture the bees' world in stunning detail. These close-ups revealed the intricate textures of their wings, the glistening droplets of nectar, and the mesmerizing patterns of the honeycomb. These shots not only added visual interest, but also reinforced the film's themes of interconnectedness and the hidden beauty of life's smallest details. The final act of the film brought all these elements together in a breathtaking climax. Set against the backdrop of a burning apiary, the scene was a symphony of fire and light, with the bees swarming in chaotic patterns around the characters. The interplay of colors, orange flames, black smoke, and the golden glow of the honeycomb, created a visual spectacle that was both devastating and awe-inspiring. The cinematography in this sequence was nothing short of masterful, capturing the raw intensity of the moment while maintaining an almost poetic beauty. Ultimately, the settings and cinematic elements of The Beekeeper were more than just aesthetic choices. They were integral to the storytelling. Every location, every shot, and every sound was carefully crafted to draw the audience deeper into the world of the film, creating an experience that was as immersive as it was unforgettable. For the viewers, these elements not only enhanced the story, but also left an indelible impression, reminding them of the power of cinema to transport, transform, and inspire. The making of The Beekeeper was as much a journey as the story it told on screen. Behind the scenes, the production buzzed with a hive of activity, filled with moments of creativity, camaraderie, and problem-solving that shaped the film into its final form. The cast and crew, brought together by a shared vision, navigated the challenges of filming with humor and determination, forging bonds that added depth and authenticity to their work. The director, David Ayer, often described the set as organized chaos. From the very beginning, the production aimed to create a deeply immersive world, blending rural serenity with urban grit. The process began with exhaustive location scouting, which took the team to remote apiaries, abandoned factories, and bustling cityscapes. The search for the perfect rural setting led them to a picturesque valley dotted with wildflowers, a place that seemed to have leaped straight from the pages of the script. The crew spent weeks building and customizing the hives, ensuring every detail was authentic. One beekeeper on set joked, "These hives are nicer than mine at home." Jason Statham, who played the lead, Clay, threw himself into the role with characteristic intensity. To prepare, he trained with professional beekeepers, learning how to handle hives and interact with bees safely. The actor's commitment paid off. During filming, he often insisted on working with live bees instead of relying on CGI. "If I'm going to be a beekeeper," Statham said, "I want it to look and feel real." There was one memorable day when a particularly curious bee decided to rest on Statham's nose during a take. The entire crew held their breath as the actor stayed perfectly still, waiting for the bee to move on. When it finally flew away, the director called cut, and the entire set erupted into applause. The bees weren't the only stars of the film with memorable on-set moments. Emmy Raver-Lampman, who played a pivotal supporting role, brought a vibrant energy to the production. Her ability to switch seamlessly between intense emotional scenes and light-hearted banter made her a favorite among the crew. One day, between takes, Raver-Lampman organized an impromptu dance-off among the cast, complete with music blasting from a crew member's phone. Even the usually stoic Statham joined in, proving that his footwork wasn't limited to action sequences. Despite the camaraderie, the production faced its share of challenges. Filming with live bees presented unique difficulties, requiring careful planning and respect for the insects. The production team collaborated with entomologists and professional handlers to ensure the bees' safety, often working around their natural behaviors. "You can't rush bees," one crew member quipped. There were days when filming had to pause entirely because the bees were too active or too sluggish, depending on the weather. Another major hurdle was capturing the urban action sequences. One scene, set in a crumbling warehouse, involved a high-octane chase through narrow corridors and precarious scaffolding. The location itself was a logistical nightmare, with unstable floors and limited lighting. The crew worked tirelessly to secure the area, installing additional supports and rigging elaborate lighting setups to create the desired atmosphere. During filming, one of the stunt coordinators joked, "If the building doesn't collapse, the audience's jaws will." The camaraderie among the cast and crew was often the glue that held the production together during these challenging moments. David Ayer fostered a collaborative atmosphere on set, encouraging everyone to contribute ideas and solutions. One day, when a key piece of equipment broke down, it was a production assistant who suggested a workaround that saved the day. "No idea is too small," Ayer often reminded his team. One of the most surprising behind-the-scenes stories involved a prop honeycomb used in a critical scene. The production designer, Sarah Greenwood, had crafted a beautiful replica, but during a break, someone accidentally left it too close to a heat source. By the time the crew returned, the honeycomb had partially melted. Instead of panicking, the team decided to incorporate the melted look into the scene, turning it into a metaphor for the character's inner turmoil. "It was a happy accident," Greenwood later said, "and it ended up being one of the most striking visuals in the film." The cast's interactions weren't limited to on-set antics. Off-camera, they bonded over shared meals and late-night conversations, often reflecting on the themes of the film. Jason Statham, known for his dry wit, would frequently play pranks on his co-stars, hiding fake bees in their trailers or swapping their scripts for pages of nonsensical dialogue. "He's a big kid," Raver-Lampman said with a laugh. But it kept the mood light, even during the grueling days. One of the more emotional moments on set came during the final week of filming. The crew had just wrapped a particularly intense scene, and David Ayer gathered everyone for an impromptu speech. He thanked them for their hard work and dedication, emphasizing how each person's contributions had brought the story to life. As he spoke, a swarm of bees suddenly appeared, hovering nearby as if to listen. It felt like a poetic nod to the film's central theme of interconnectedness, and the moment wasn't lost on anyone present. The soundtrack, composed by Hans Zimmer, was another labor of love that brought its own challenges. Zimmer visited the set several times to draw inspiration from the locations, and even recorded the sounds of the bees to incorporate into the score. During one session, a microphone accidentally tipped over and landed near a hive, capturing a unique, distorted buzz. Zimmer decided to use the sound as a recurring motif in the film, blending it with orchestral elements to create a hauntingly beautiful auditory experience. As the production neared completion, the team reflected on the journey they had shared. From the early days of location scouting to the long nights of editing, every step had been a testament to their collective passion and resilience. The final product was more than a film. It was a tribute to the spirit of collaboration and the magic that happens when a group of people comes together to tell a story. In interviews after the release, the cast and crew often spoke fondly of their time on set. Jason Statham described it as one of the most rewarding experiences of his career, praising the team's creativity and determination. "It wasn't always easy," he admitted, "but the hard work paid off. And I'll never forget the moments of laughter and connection we shared along the way." Emmy Raver-Lampman echoed his sentiments, highlighting the sense of family that developed among the team. "It wasn't just about making a movie," she said. "It was about creating something meaningful together. And that's what made it so special." Looking back, the behind-the-scenes stories of The Beekeeper are as compelling as the film itself. They reveal the heart and soul that went into its creation, offering a glimpse into the artistry, humor, and resilience that define the world of filmmaking. For those who worked on the project, it wasn't just a job. It was an unforgettable adventure. And for audiences, knowing the journey behind the film only deepens their appreciation for the story it tells. In The Beekeeper, themes and symbolism intertwine to create a narrative rich with meaning, subtly guiding the audience to ponder questions about human connection, vengeance, and healing. From its opening scene to its final moments, the film employs layers of thematic depth and symbolic imagery to craft a story that lingers long after the credits roll. The film's central theme is transformation, a journey from destruction to renewal. Clay, the protagonist, embodies this evolution, moving through grief, anger, and ultimately redemption. His profession as a beekeeper serves as a powerful metaphor for this journey. Bees, with their intricate communities and tireless labor, represent harmony and resilience. Throughout the film, their presence parallels Clay's own struggle to rebuild his life and reconnect with others. Just as bees work together to create a thriving hive, Clay must learn to rebuild his fractured relationships and find meaning amidst chaos. One of the most poignant scenes involves Clay quietly tending to his bees at dawn, their gentle hum blending with the soft light of a new day. It's a moment of introspection that encapsulates the film's message about healing through patience and care. The bees, though fragile, are also a symbol of strength, teaching Clay and the audience that recovery is not immediate but comes through persistence and community. The theme of vengeance runs like a dark undercurrent throughout the film, weaving a complex tapestry of moral ambiguity. Clay's quest for justice is driven by the devastating loss of his family, a pain so raw it becomes his primary motivator. However, the film avoids simplistic portrayals of vengeance as either wholly justifiable or entirely destructive. Instead, it explores its dual nature. While Clay's actions bring him closer to uncovering the truth, they also threaten to consume him, much like the sting of a bee, a defensive act that can be fatal to the bee itself. Symbolism plays a significant role in reinforcing this theme. The recurring image of honeycomb, with its geometric perfection, reflects the delicate balance Clay must strike between his need for justice and his desire to heal. In one pivotal scene, a shattered honeycomb serves as a visual metaphor for the fragility of Clay's psyche, emphasizing the cost of his relentless pursuit of revenge. Later, as he begins to find closure, the honeycomb is shown being repaired by the bees, symbolizing the potential for renewal even after profound loss. Another prominent theme is the idea of interconnectedness. The film emphasizes that no one exists in isolation, a lesson Clay learns through his interactions with others. Early in the story, he isolates himself, consumed by grief and anger. His only connection is with his bees, a solitary form of companionship. However, as the plot unfolds, Clay begins to form tentative bonds with those around him, fellow survivors, allies, and even former adversaries. These relationships highlight the power of unity and the importance of mutual support. This theme is mirrored in the behavior of the bees themselves. In one of the film's most symbolic moments, a swarm of bees protects Clay from an imminent threat, their collective strength saving him in a way he could never have achieved alone. It's a striking visual reminder that individual actions, when combined, can create something far greater than the sum of their parts. The film's use of light and color further underscores its themes. The rural settings are bathed in warm, golden hues, evoking the glow of honey and symbolizing hope and renewal. In contrast, urban scenes are steeped in cold, desaturated tones, reflecting the bleakness of Clay's quest and the moral gray areas he must navigate. These shifts in the visual palette not only enhance the mood but also serve as a narrative device, guiding the audience through Clay's emotional journey. One particularly striking use of symbolism involves the bee smoker, a tool Clay uses throughout the film to calm his bees. The smoker becomes a metaphor for control, both over the bees and, more broadly, over one's emotions. In moments of anger or despair, Clay is often shown lighting the smoker, the rising tendrils of smoke symbolizing his struggle to suppress his inner turmoil. By the end of the film, the smoker takes on a new meaning, representing not suppression but transformation, a way of channeling pain into something constructive. Themes of identity and purpose also run deeply through the narrative. Clay's role as a beekeeper is more than a profession. It's a part of his identity, one that connects him to his past and gives him a sense of purpose. This connection is most evident in his meticulous care for the bees, a stark contrast to the chaos that defines much of his life. The bees, in turn, seem to respond to his care, their thriving hives serving as a symbol of the stability and peace Clay seeks. The film also delves into the theme of justice versus morality, questioning the lines between right and wrong. Clay's actions, rooted in a desire for justice blur ethical boundaries. A recurring symbolic element is the presence of wildflowers surrounding Clay's apiary. These flowers, with their vibrant colors and seemingly chaotic growth, symbolize the unpredictability of life and the beauty that can emerge from adversity. In one climactic scene, a field of wildflowers becomes the setting for a turning point in Clay's journey, their vivid blooms contrasting sharply with the emotional weight of the moment. The juxtaposition serves as a reminder that even in the darkest times, there is potential for growth and renewal. The film's exploration of resilience is perhaps its most universal theme, resonating with audiences on a deeply personal level. Clay's journey mirrors the struggles many face in the wake of trauma, a process of confronting pain, finding support, and rediscovering purpose. The bees, with their tireless work ethic and ability to rebuild after setbacks, serve as a constant reminder of this resilience. Through their symbolism, the film conveys a message of hope, that even in the face of overwhelming loss, it's possible to heal and create something meaningful. In its closing moments, The Beekeeper brings its themes full circle, tying together the threads of transformation, interconnectedness, and justice. As Clay stands before his hive, watching the bees in their ceaseless dance, the camera lingers on his face, capturing a rare moment of peace. It's a quiet yet powerful conclusion, underscoring the film's central message, that healing is a journey, one that requires patience, community, and the courage to confront the past. Through its rich tapestry of themes and symbolism, The Beekeeper invites audiences to reflect on their own lives, encouraging them to find strength in connection and purpose in adversity. It's a story that buzzes with meaning, leaving viewers with much to ponder, and a renewed appreciation for the resilience of both bees and humans alike. The brilliance of The Beekeeper lies not only in its poignant story and layered themes, but also in the masterful filmmaking techniques that bring it to life. From the very first frame to the closing credits, the film demonstrates a meticulous attention to detail, using sound editing and cinematography to weave a world that feels both intimate and grand, personal yet universal. Each technical choice contributes to shaping the film's atmosphere and pulling the audience deeper into its narrative hive. The cinematography of The Beekeeper is a standout element, capturing the beauty of the natural world while juxtaposing it against the harshness of human emotions and urban settings. The film uses wide-angle shots of Clay's apiary, nestled in a field of wildflowers, to evoke a sense of tranquility and timelessness. These moments are often bathed in golden light, the hues reminiscent of honey, symbolizing warmth and healing. In contrast, the urban sequences, where Clay delves into the darker aspects of his quest, are dominated by cold, steel-gray tones and tight, claustrophobic framing. This contrast visually underscores the duality of Clay's journey, a man torn between peace and vengeance. One particularly striking visual technique is the use of macro photography to depict the bees in intricate detail. These close-up shots allow the audience to marvel at the complexity of the hive, from the delicate wings of a worker bee to the meticulous construction of the honeycomb. These moments not only emphasize the beauty of nature, but also draw parallels between the hive's resilience and Clay's personal struggles. The camera lingers on the bees during pivotal emotional beats, creating a visual metaphor for Clay's inner turmoil and his journey toward renewal. Sound design plays an equally crucial role in immersing the audience in Clay's world. The gentle hum of the bees becomes a recurring auditory motif, soothing yet charged with meaning. In moments of calm, the sound of the hive is soft and melodic, creating a sense of harmony. However, during tense or emotionally fraught scenes, the hum intensifies, growing louder and more chaotic, mirroring Clay's inner conflict. This dynamic use of sound transforms the bees into more than just creatures. They become an emotional barometer for the story. The film also employs diegetic sound to ground the audience in its world. The rustling of leaves, the creak of wood, and the soft crackle of a fire in Clay's cabin all contribute to a sense of place and intimacy. These natural sounds contrast sharply with the harsh, mechanical noises of the city, car horns, sirens, and the dull hum of fluorescent lights, highlighting the dichotomy between Clay's sanctuary and the outside world. This auditory juxtaposition reinforces the thematic tension between chaos and order, destruction and creation. Editing in The Beekeeper is another masterstroke, skillfully balancing the film's dual tones. The pacing is deliberate, allowing the audience to linger in moments of quiet reflection while propelling them through the thriller elements of the story. Transitions between scenes are seamless, often using visual or auditory cues to guide the audience. For instance, a shot of bees swarming transitions to a bustling city crowd, drawing a parallel between the collective behavior of the hive and human society. These subtle connections add layers of meaning and cohesion to the narrative. One of the most innovative editing techniques in the film is its use of montage to depict Clay's emotional journey. Early in the story, a series of quick cuts show him tending to his bees, interspersed with flashes of his tragic past. The frenetic editing captures his fractured state of mind, each image hitting like the sting of a bee. As the film progresses and Clay begins to heal, the montage is slowed down, the images flowing smoothly into one another. This shift in editing style mirrors his growing sense of clarity and control, offering a visual representation of his transformation. Lighting is another crucial element in The Beekeeper, used not only to create mood, but also to convey character emotion and thematic depth. Natural light dominates the scene set in Clay's apiary, with soft, diffuse sunlight casting a warm glow over the bees and their hive. These scenes feel almost ethereal, emphasizing the sanctity of Clay's connection to nature. In contrast, the urban settings are lit with harsh, artificial light, creating a stark, unflattering aesthetic that reflects the moral murkiness of Clay's quest for vengeance. Shadows play a significant symbolic role in the film's visual language. In several key scenes, Clay is shown surrounded by shadows, his face partially obscured, symbolizing the darkness that threatens to consume him. Conversely, moments of resolution and self-discovery are bathed in light, signaling his movement toward healing and redemption. The interplay of light and shadow becomes a visual metaphor for the film's central themes, adding another layer of complexity to its storytelling. The film's use of color is equally intentional. Golden yellows and earthy browns dominate the scenes at the apiary, evoking a sense of warmth, safety, and renewal. These colors are often associated with the honey and beeswax, tying them thematically to Clay's sanctuary and his journey toward wholeness. In contrast, the city is depicted in a palette of grays and blues, emphasizing its coldness and detachment. Splashes of red, often associated with danger or passion, punctuate the film's more intense moments, drawing the audience's attention to key emotional or narrative beats. One of the most inventive filmmaking techniques in The Beekeeper is its use of perspective. The film occasionally shifts to the point of view of the bees, with the camera adopting a low, roving angle and a soft, buzzing sound accompanying the visuals. These moments immerse the audience in the world of the hive, creating a sense of wonder and reminding viewers of the interconnectedness of all living things. This perspective shift also serves as a narrative device, providing a fresh lens through which to view Clay's actions and the broader themes of the film. The score, composed by a master of minimalist music, is another standout element. The soundtrack blends orchestral arrangements with natural sounds, such as the hum of bees and the rustling of leaves. This fusion creates a soundscape that feels organic, yet otherworldly, perfectly complementing the film's tone. The music swells during moments of triumph and recedes during quieter, introspective scenes, always serving the story without overshadowing it. Practical effects are used extensively in The Beekeeper, lending authenticity to the film's visuals. The bees are real, trained by expert handlers to interact with the actors and sets. This decision not only adds a layer of realism, but also underscores the film's commitment to its themes of nature and interconnectedness. The use of real bees creates a palpable sense of danger in certain scenes, heightening the tension and grounding the audience in the reality of Clay's world. Finally, the film's use of symbolism through visual motifs ties all these elements together. The recurring image of the honeycomb, with its geometric precision and organic beauty, serves as a visual anchor for the story's themes of resilience and renewal. The honeycomb appears in various forms throughout the film, etched into wood, reflected in patterns of light, and even mirrored in the architecture of certain buildings. This subtle repetition reinforces the narrative's central ideas, creating a sense of unity and purpose. In The Beekeeper, every filmmaking technique, from cinematography and sound design to editing and practical effects, works in harmony to craft a story that is as visually and emotionally compelling as it is thematically rich. These elements elevate the film beyond its narrative, making it a truly immersive experience that lingers with the audience long after they leave the theater. By blending technical mastery with heartfelt storytelling, The Beekeeper cements its place as a cinematic achievement, buzzing with creativity and depth. In the world of filmmaking, the stories behind the scenes are often just as intriguing as those on the screen. For The Beekeeper, a film that weaves together themes of resilience, vengeance, and healing, the cast and crew brought not only their talent, but also their unique experiences and insights to the table. Through interviews and anecdotes, we get a glimpse of the camaraderie, challenges, and creative sparks that shaped this cinematic endeavor. The director's vision, a buzzing symphony. David Ayer, known for his gritty storytelling and intense character-driven narratives, helmed the director's chair for The Beekeeper. In interviews, Ayer revealed that the film was deeply personal for him. He shared how the idea for the story stemmed from his fascination with bees and their symbolic significance. Bees are nature's architects, Ayer explained. Their hives are a microcosm of order, resilience, and harmony. Everything our protagonist, Clay, strives for in the chaos of his life. Ayer spoke passionately about the visual style of the film, describing it as grounded yet poetic. He wanted the camera to feel like a participant in the story, almost like an unseen character observing the emotional nuances and the tension. His collaboration with the cinematographer was pivotal in creating the film's distinctive aesthetic, where natural beauty contrasted starkly with urban grit. Every frame had to resonate with the themes of duality and transformation, he said, because that's what Clay's journey is all about. Jason Statham, becoming Clay. Jason Statham, the film's leading man, delivered a powerful performance as Clay, a former operative turned beekeeper seeking justice. In interviews, Statham shared how he prepared for the role, diving deep into the world of beekeeping and drawing on his own experiences with action-packed narratives. Clay is a complex character, Statham noted. He's not just a tough guy. He's a man grappling with lost guilt and a desire to make things right. That emotional depth was what drew me to the script. To embody the role authentically, Statham underwent rigorous training, not just in combat, but also in beekeeping. He spent weeks learning from professional apiarists, handling live bees, and understanding the intricacies of hive maintenance. It was both terrifying and fascinating, he admitted with a laugh. Getting stung a few times was part of the job, but it made me respect these tiny creatures even more. Statham also praised the collaborative atmosphere on set, particularly his dynamic with David Ayer. David pushed me to dig deeper, to find the vulnerability beneath the toughness, he said. It wasn't just about throwing punches. It was about showing Clay's humanity in every scene. Supporting cast, bringing depth to the hive. The supporting cast of The Beekeeper added richness to the narrative, each actor bringing their own perspective to their roles. Emmy Raver-Lampman, who played a pivotal ally to Clay, spoke about the emotional weight of her character. She's someone who's been through her own struggles, but chooses to fight for what's right, Raver-Lampman explained. Her bond with Clay is built on mutual respect and a shared sense of purpose. Raver-Lampman highlighted the camaraderie on set, sharing how the cast would often spend evenings discussing their characters over dinner. We'd bounce ideas off each other and explore how our characters' journeys intertwine, she said. It created a sense of authenticity in our on-screen relationships. Jeremy Irons, who portrayed the enigmatic antagonist, brought a commanding presence to the film. In interviews, Irons delved into the motivations of his character, describing him as a man driven by greed and power, yet haunted by his own vulnerabilities. He praised the script for its nuanced portrayal of morality, noting, "No one is entirely good or evil in this story. It's a reflection of life's complexities, building the hive, behind-the-scenes stories." The production of The Beekeeper was filled with memorable moments, many of which showcased the dedication and humor of the cast and crew. One of the most talked-about anecdotes involved a particularly unruly swarm of bees on set. During a scene where Statham's character interacts with the hive, a sudden shift in weather caused the bees to become agitated. "We had to halt filming and let the professionals calm them down," Statham recalled. "It was a humbling reminder that nature doesn't always follow the script." Raver-Lampman shared a lighter moment involving a prank played by the crew. "Jason has this intense focus on set, so we decided to lighten the mood by sneaking a mechanical bee into one of the scenes," she said, laughing. The look on his face when it started buzzing was priceless. The crew also faced logistical challenges during the urban sequences, particularly when filming in crowded city streets. Ayer recounted how they had to coordinate with local authorities to manage traffic and ensure safety. The power of collaboration. The production was marked by a spirit of collaboration, with everyone from the costume designer to the stunt coordinator contributing to the film's vision. Costume designer Sarah Evelyn spoke about her approach to dressing the characters, emphasizing how the costumes reflected their personalities and journeys. Clay's wardrobe evolves from rugged, earthy tones to more structured, darker hues as his character transitions from Beekeeper to Avenger, she explained. Stunt coordinator Joe McLaren shared insights into the film's action sequences, praising Statham's commitment to performing his own stunts. "Jason's background in martial arts made my job easier," McLaren said. "He brings a physicality and precision that elevates every fight scene." Fun facts and lasting impressions. The cast and crew often spoke about the lasting impact of the Beekeeper on their lives. For Statham, the film deepened his appreciation for nature and sustainability. "Beekeeping taught me about the balance of ecosystems and the importance of protecting these incredible creatures," he said. Raver-Lampman echoed this sentiment, noting how the film inspired her to advocate for environmental causes. "It's a movie about resilience and interconnectedness, and that's a message we need now more than ever," she said. As the interviews wrapped up, one theme emerged consistently: the shared belief that The Beekeeper was more than just a film. It was a labor of love, a story with a purpose. Through their passion, humor, and dedication, the cast and crew created a cinematic experience that resonates on both an emotional and artistic level. Their journey behind the scenes is a testament to the power of storytelling and the magic of collaboration. As we approach the end of our journey through the intricate world of The Beekeeper 2024, it's time to reflect on the incredible aspects of this film we've explored together. From its gripping narrative and unforgettable characters to its profound themes and groundbreaking filmmaking techniques, this movie offers much more than just an action-packed revenge story. It's a deep, emotional, and visually stunning piece of cinema. Let's take a moment to recap the highlights we've delved into. A tale of resilience and redemption. We began by unraveling the story of Clay, a man whose quiet life as a beekeeper masked a storm of pain and loss. Through the film's narrative, we watched him evolve from a solitary figure into an unstoppable force of justice. The first half of the plot set the stage with tension and intrigue, drawing us into Clay's world and the conflict that disrupts his peace. The second half escalated the stakes, delivering jaw-dropping twists and a satisfying resolution that left audiences both shocked and inspired. Clay's character arc, driven by grief but fueled by hope, served as the emotional backbone of the story. Jason Statham's portrayal added layers of humanity to a role that demanded both raw intensity and heartfelt vulnerability. Alongside him, a talented supporting cast brought depth to every interaction, making the relationships in the film resonate long after the credits rolled. Thematic resonance and visual brilliance. From the beginning, The Beekeeper wove themes of interconnectedness, healing, and the pursuit of balance into its narrative. The symbolism of bees, creatures that thrive in harmony and unity, mirrored Clay's journey toward personal and social equilibrium. Every scene, every moment, reinforced this thematic core, giving the film a sense of cohesion and purpose. Visually, the film was nothing short of breathtaking. The rural landscapes juxtaposed with urban chaos created a striking contrast that mirrored Clay's internal struggles. Cinematic elements like lighting, camera angles, and sound design worked together to immerse us in the story. Whether it was the gentle hum of bees or the jarring sounds of combat, every auditory and visual detail added depth to the experience. Behind-the-scenes magic. We also peeked behind the curtain to discover the magic that brought the Beekeeper to life. From director David Ayer's passionate vision to the cast and crew's relentless dedication, the film was a testament to collaboration and creativity. Jason Statham's commitment to authenticity, whether it meant performing his own stunts or handling live bees, was a standout element of the production. We laughed at the anecdotes, like the prank with the mechanical bee, and marveled at the challenges, from managing unpredictable weather to coordinating complex urban shoots. These stories reminded us that filmmaking is as much about perseverance as it is about artistry. Why this film matters. Beyond its technical brilliance and emotional storytelling, The Beekeeper carries a message that resonates with today's audiences. It's a reminder of the importance of protecting the natural world, finding purpose in adversity, and standing up for what's right. The film's ability to balance action with introspection sets it apart, making it more than just a thrill ride. It's a story with heart and meaning. Stay tuned for more. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into The Beekeeper, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more movie breakdowns, reviews, and behind-the-scenes insights. We've got plenty of exciting content lined up, from exploring other cinematic masterpieces to uncovering hidden gems. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video. And of course, if there's a film you'd love us to analyze next, drop your suggestions in the comments. Your recommendations help shape our journey through the world of cinema. Final thoughts. The Beekeeper is more than a movie. It's an experience that lingers in your mind and heart. Whether it's the compelling story, the thematic richness, or the cinematic artistry, this film has something for everyone. We hope our exploration has given you a deeper appreciation for the artistry and effort behind it. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Until next time, keep watching, keep wondering, and keep celebrating the magic of movies. See you in the next video.